Hello, I'm Vivi LaRoe. Thank you for joining me today on Modern Jewelry Creators. It is time for new earrings. It's a new year. Why not? Let's make lots of gorgeous new earrings. I got a little carried away and made mini pairs, so I'm going to break this up into little mini videos with maybe 2 pairs per video, so you can jump around and watch the ones you want to watch. And I'm going to start out with these lovely chandeliers. Here are them in gold, and here's the ones in silver I'm wearing. And then it's a little different style of chandelier. It's a little more of a drop chandelier earring, I guess. And we are going to talk about these today. You know, small, like dainty earrings have been in for a long time. They've been gorgeous. But I love a statement earring. I really do. Because then you don't need all the other jewelry look. I mean, I do because I'm doing these videos. But generally, when you're just running out the door, a great big earring, mwah, lovely. And this is a gold one. It's kind of hard to see. She's so pretty, though. And just a little gold. So gorgeous. And then, let me see if I can put this one here. You can see him a little closer. She's so pretty. So gorgeous. So what I'm going to do though today, sorry for this video, is do a tutorial on this little drop chandelier here and show you how I made her. This one's a little more involved. It's just a lot more steps. And like most of the jewelry I show on this channel, these are both available as kits. They're right around the $20 range, and of course come with all the materials and all the instruction sheets. I'll have to hold this up. And this one is going to come with, I'll send you a link to the tutorial video. Look how pretty. Just because there's, again, a lot of little steps, tiny chain, that kind of thing. It's just easier, I think, to see it done in a video. And so, special bonus, I will send you the video link for that, but we're not going to do that one on YouTube because it's just going to take a long time. But we'll do this one. Look how pretty she is. I think it's just gorgeous. Just so pretty. I love them both. I love chain. Oh, so gorgeous. So through the magic of a thing called editing that I rarely do, I'm going to say goodbye here in a second, and we're going to go to a clip of just my hands walking through the steps of this earring here that I am wearing. And I hope you'll enjoy. I'll put links down below, and I hope you will like and subscribe to the channel for more jewelry making content and to see the next couple videos I'll do for the next earrings coming up. Thank you so much for joining me, and now we're gonna, I guess, cut to this tutorial. And we're back. Here we are for our demo. Hello. As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna be doing a quick tutorial on this earring. It's kind of hard to show it. If I lay it down flat, you kind of lose the effect of how pretty the chandelier, little chains are around the crystal drop. But she sure is pretty. So I made one in the gold, and we're gonna make her pair here. So we're going to start with the beautiful chain. You could use any repeating link chain. I just really like this little, it's called the kink cable. That little like kink in the middle is what makes it kind of sparkle. It's really kind of sweet and dainty. So we've cut here about 10 1-inch pieces. They don't have to be exact, but we need about 10 of them. And we're going to put them on a 6mm jump ring. Sizes are important here. And I tried to cut these all about the same length. I didn't really measure super close, but sometimes I purposely will cut some a little shorter, because even around the earring when it's finished, the chains are varying lengths. you may not have caught before that some of them have crystals hanging on the end, and so some are shorter and some are longer, and you can, cut those after the fact, as desired. So when I do that, I'll be aware that I'm stringing them on the jump ring in like varying order, let's say. But for this one, I cut them about the same length. I'm going to make sure I'm closed like flush. So here's all my chains on my jump ring. Okay, so I'm just going to put that off to the side. Now, I'm going to start with the base piece on a ball head pin. And I've got the drop crystal. It's a large one, 12 millimeters or so. And I'm putting a 4 millimeter crystal on top in a rondelle. This just needs to be a little basic loop because it's a 20 gauge wire, so it doesn't need to have a wrap loop. And I'll just, a basic one is fine. Okay, there she is. And I'm using an eye pin for the body. You don't have to. You could use just a piece of 20 gauge wire, would do the same thing. I like an eye pin if I have them because the loop is already there, and normally the wire is already like half hard, stiffened, so it's nice. But again, you could just use a 20 gauge piece of wire. So there is our crystal drop with the little crystal on top hooked into our eye pin. All good to go. Then I'm using a 10 millimeter crystal there, and then we're going to put on our little jump ring of chains. Okay, so this is when I've got to kind of hold this upright, because if I turn it, obviously it's will turn, but I will show you in a second. So then I'm going to put on an 8 millimeter rondelle on top, and this top loop needs to be a wrapped loop, not because of the wire, because this is a 20 gauge wire, and so technically what I call basic loop would be fine to hold it. But this needs a wrap loop at the top because that's how we're going to tighten this together, is by wrapping this. So sometimes when we do a wire wrap loop, we're just to finish it where it looks so pretty. This has a purpose. It needs to, need to do enough wraps to where it tightens this and holds these together so that these chains stay spread out. See, I'm spreading them out, evenly around the crystal. So when I look down, they're all kind of spread out nicely. When I go to do that last wrap, that is what's going to keep it taut, like together. But to do that, I have to turn it. So I did play with it here, but it's going to move until I get to that final one anyway. Now I want to try to make the tiniest neck here possible. Again, because I've got to do some extra wraps on there maybe, and I do not like a long wrapped neck. I think it looks messy. So I've got my bend. I'm going to do my loop, and again, on these videos, these are not tutorials for wire wraps, loops, or anything. I've got those on my channel separately, so that's why sometimes if it goes out of frame, I apologize, but I'm just doing a wire wrap loop or basic loop. Okay, so fortunately, nothing else has to go in this before we wrap it. We're just going to wrap it closed. Now, you can see where all the changes moved, right? That's okay. Let's do our first couple, and we want these laying next to each other. That's the thing about wire wrap loops. People do them really messy, and again, you're losing the purpose of them. Is they lay next to each other and make a clean, effect to it. Okay, so I just need a way to hang on to this. So now before I do this last loop, I've already made it kind of tight. I'm going to move these chains in place where I want them before I tighten this up. And I already have it a little tight, so this is tricky. Everybody move around. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. All right, so we want them basically as even as possible. And I'm going to do this left-handed, which is going to be awkward, but I'm going to do that last wrap down there to tighten that up. Now nobody's going anywhere. Okay, get in there, cut, bye-bye, crimp her down so that looks even. And now my chains are in place, right? They're not going anywhere. Lovely. And now all she needs is an ear wire. I'm using a ball ear wire. I'm going to go over the back. And you could decide which side looks better for the front of it. You know, sometimes depending on how you have it spaced out or maybe the look of the wrap even, you might decide you like one side better than the other for the front. And you just have to change the ear wire around, which I might do here. We'll see. Okay. No, that's okay. So, again, I know it's tricky to see doing the tutorial this way. Now, to add the links that are on the little crystals that are on the bottom, I only have 3 per earring. I have them about every 3 chains with like 4 in the back. So I'm going to hang it up. I'll tip this back so you can kind of see it a little bit. This may fall over. But you'll want to hang it up too on something, off a bowl or a ledge or something, so you can see what you're doing and where you're putting things. Then we just need a basic head pin and whatever crystals you want to do around the bottom. Like I said, I only do 3. You could do more than that, but just, you know, and they're small, like 2 or 3 millimeters, so tiny, and a basic loop is all we need. I've got 3 here. I'm going to sit down so I can see. And this is also where I can see how long the chains are, right? And since I've already made one earring, I'm trying to make sure they, you know, match more or less. So I can cut off any ones that are particularly long. And I can also cut wherever I'm going to put the crystal on, because that will add links. So I'm going to cut that link off and then open her up and put that first little crystal there in the front. And then I'm going to skip 2 chains until third one. And I could cut that if I needed to. That one was okay. And 1, 2, 3, and this one's a little shorter too, which is good. But if the chain you wanted to put it on was longer, you just trim it off. Come on. There. And that's it. And you could move them around or whatever if you wanted to. But I like the look of that little extra crystal on there. You surely don't have to add them, but it adds a little extra zhuzh, extra pretty sparkliness to it. And there they are. Oh, so pretty. I really like them in the gold. This is such a beautiful kind of neutral blue. It's kind of a sapphire-y blue. Beautiful. And that's it. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Peace.